Hey yo, it's Tony the Tiger here, back at it again with another feature match fresh out of the kitchen for y'all. Today, similar to our last video, we're going to be seeing ROLAD with a little bit different of flavor on the left hand side. Going to be the Angelechy version of the deck using that new TCG exclusive archetype right out of Chaos Origins. On the right hand side, classic, going to be seeing Patron DoomZ being played by our boy Yair once again. So we did end up seeing a pretty good match last time. We'll see how these Angelechy cards actually fare. Personally, I do think the Asmina version is a little bit better, but got to imagine this one's pretty fun. We're going to see him start off with a copy of Ragged Record of Rights, basically just Rhoda for the Light and Darkness Ritual deck. It's going to see us add the Griffo, and do we see a Droll in response? Likely nope. We're going to see Griffo go ahead and set a spell or trap that mentions the ritual spell. Going to set that Mind Shuffle. Activate Mind Shuffle. We all know exactly what this does. Add and discard Skull Arch Fiend of Chaos. Skull Arch Fiend of Chaos, pitching the ritual spell for cost. Add one of the two ritual monsters. Going to be that Magician of Black Chaos. And we'll see where he wants to go from here. We got a copy of Foolish Burial Goods. It's likely going to dump the Angelechy Disturbance. Yep, Angelechy Disturbance. We can banish it from the graveyard to add a Angelechy spell or trap. So it looks like it's going to be activated there. Going to search the Angelechy problem. Really cool field spell. Field spell is going to let us, as we see now, discard for cost a spell or trap to special summon one from the extract of the EMZ and then place one. We're going to place the Bastion, and the Bastion will place the Shatranga. And the Shatranga, when it's placed, we'll go ahead and add a trap from the deck or graveyard. I'm not too familiar with these cards, but looks like he did add back from the graveyard, so not too surprising. Going to see the ROLAD ritual spell. Go ahead and add back the Skull Arch Fiend of Chaos. We're coming back everything we want from the graveyard. Going to activate the ritual spell. Ritual spell. Going to banish that Griffo entirely for cost to then bring out the Black Chaos. Black Chaos can then add any spell from the graveyard. We're going to add back the Foolish Burial Goods. Nice little bit of follow up there. And doesn't look like we're going to be doing too much more from here. We got the little lock set up. If you don't know what Shatranga does, Shatranga basically poses a problem to your opponent. Says you have 5 monster effects before you're locked out. So kind of creating a little chess puzzle for our opponent. Really like that aspect of the deck. We're going to see Skull Arch Fiend of Chaos targeting the Ragged Record Rights, the Banished Disturbance, and the Banished Griffo. Going to put them back on the bottom to summon itself. Really cool how that card just doesn't actually have any limitation on what it can target. Really love that. Helpful for a lot of decks. Okay, and we're going to see the Enlisted as is a tuner with the Skull Arch Fiend of Chaos. Going to secret off into the Diabel. That will add back a spell or trap from the graveyard. So interesting. We do see some synergy there. Diabel, if you don't know what this card does, when your opponent activates a card or effect, I believe, it can send a spell trap for cost like most of the White Force cards, and then summon a Synchro Tuner. So we'll see what his Synchro Tuner of choice from the extract is, but in the opponent's turn, we're going to see him go ahead and summon the Enlisted off of the Angelechy opening to E4, placing the Destrier. If you don't know what Destrier does, that's going to search a spell when it's placed, and this one, similar to the Shatranga, will have a passive effect, going to be burning our opponent for 500 for every card or effect that they activate. So you do see how these Angelechy cards really do just not necessarily put up a ton of interaction, but more so quote-unquote floodgate the opponent, if you want to say. I would say they're a little bit nicer than floodgates. You can still play up until the 5 monster effects with the Shatranga, but it just makes the game a little bit more thought-provoking, I guess. Let's see what he decides to do here on the Patron DoomZ side. Thinking through our lines. Now, if you've seen this deck does want to use a lot of monster effects, so that Shatranga is going to be quite problematic. Just making it so we have to really, really think through what we do before we start. And now keep in mind, to clear that Shatranga, not only is it being protected by the Bastion in the back row, but the Magician of Dark Chaos Ritual monster is also protecting it. So it's going to be really hard to get rid of that. We're going to activate the Ginaldo, use the effect of Shade from the hand, so counter monster effects, that's 1. Because we control a card in the Pendulum Zone, we're going to be able to summon the Shade from our hand. All right, and looks like we're going to be using the Diabel, sending the Bastion. Again, because these are treated as continuous spells, we can go ahead and do that. And it's going to summon a copy of Zaylan. Sometimes forget that guy's a Synchro Tuner. Makes sense because it's in the cool tune deck, but really cool that it can just be brought out off the Diabell. That's really interesting. We're going to see the Shade effect, paying 1,000. So monster effect number 2, if you're counting. If you don't know what Shade does, Shade is going to be able to destroy a Pendulum card and then put a Pendulum from the deck to the extra deck face up. All right, sorry about that little going out of focus there. Going to see Called by onto Skull Archfiend Chaos, it looks. All right, so we went Chainlink 1 Shade, Chainlink 2 Mind Shuffle, Chainlink 3 Called by onto Skull Archfiend Chaos, and then chaining the Zaylin to negate the Called by. So we're going to see the Mind Shuffle, add the BLS, and discard the Farah from hand. Then going to see the Shade Resolve, popping the Ginoldo and putting the Nervetto into the extra deck face up. So we chained the Called by just that we couldn't have the Shade negated by Zaylin, because it can only look back 2 chain links, if you remember. So now on resolution, from the Patron DoomZ side, we're going to have both Nervetto and Ginoldo triggering. Going to let us E-Telly one and add back. And then we should see Farah trigger on the other side. If you don't know what that card does, if it's sent via spell or trap effect, it can bring itself back from the graveyard and then works as like a snatch steal once it's summoned back. All right, we're going to see Mind Shuffle chain to the Nervetto. Going to bounce back the Demog, bring out the BLS. Let's see what Nervetto decides to bring out. Nervetto will bring out the Patron DoomZ. And again, like we saw in earlier matches, it does not have to target a DoomZ monster. Because we have that level 4 Shade, it will be able to go ahead and make the Diactorus. Oh, it looks like we're actually changing our mind there. Going to bring out the copy of Geppetto instead. All right, and then we're going to see... He did try to activate the Farah. This was a little bit weird. We'll see if he lets him do a take back. The Farah should have been activated in response to the Nervetto, in which case we wouldn't have been able to use the Mind Shuffle. So I think that's what we're kind of covering here, is because if you think about it, would have been Nervetto 1 and then Farah Chainlink 2, but we did chain the Mind Shuffle to it. So it looks like what we're arguing here is, do we get to use the Farah, which I would say we can't, because Mind Shuffle has to change to an opponent's card, can't change to our own, and the Farah is also not mandatory. So we're going to see Farah not activate, but then on new chain DLS, we'll go ahead and just banish the Geppetto. So still not in the best situation. We are on 2 monster effects being used now. Should be 3. We've had 2 effects of Shade and Nervetto being used. Going to see him summon, I believe, a copy of a Mouth. It's a little hard to see with the glare. We're going to see that here with a copy of Veiler. Should be on, we are behind. It was 2 copies of Shade and then Nervetto. And them also we're on 4, not 3. We'll probably see that matter here. Going to see us overlay for the Diactorus and then Zodiac style slap a Flare on that, detaching the Mouth. This will let us add a Doom spell or trap and then non-target pop a card on the field. But we're going to see Mind Shuffle chain to that, bringing back out the Demog. So again, going to be protecting our back row, putting us up to what should be 5, but it happened. We're going to say it's 4 on the Shatranga. So we do still have 1 monster effect left. And at this point, I hate to say it, but it does seem a little unlikely that we're going to be able to break this board. So even if we're able to get rid of the Shatranga, I don't really see us being able to put up anything too crazy after that. We're going to end up searching the Adrastea equipping the Diabell. Let's see, what is he trying to do here? Not sure why the Diabell just left. Oh, we're popping. Never mind. We're popping the Diabell with the Griflario. So we have the Adrastea in hand. Let's see what he says to do with this. We don't really want to activate this on the Demog because that'll just get bounced back with Mind Shuffle. We could equip it to the Griflario to then summon something back and then use Griflario to E-Telly from the deck, but that would be our 5th monster effect. So that also doesn't seem too great. So we're going to use it on the Zaylin. Going to use the Adrastea effect. Will let us pop whatever it's equipped to then summon a Dooms from hand, deck, or grave. Sorry, hand, grave, or banish. Going to summon back the Geppetto that was banished off the BLS. This card would be crazy if it could summon back from the deck. Honestly, when I saw the card printed, that's really what I wanted to. I wanted to be kind of like that one mechanical equip spell, but might have been a little bit too crazy if you just had a one card starter that was also a board breaker, but oh well. Let's see. Looks like we have Drastia in hand already. Which would help us kind of set something up here, but still, again, remember this should be 5, not 4. So we are pretending as if we have one monster effect left, even though we shouldn't. What are we going to do? We can go Drastia. We can use Drastia to pop the Geppetto, but then we're not going to be able to get anything off the Geppetto. The Geppetto is basically just a vanilla that we just popped. So now we are at the 5 monster effect limit. We have Doomdirk equipped. So now, going into the next turn, we do have a decent bit of interaction. The Drastia can rank itself up into the Drastrias. It can use the Doomdirk to pop the Griflaria to potentially summon something, but I don't really see how any of that's doing too much against what we have built by the Angelechy ROLAD player. See Drastia beat over the Enlisted, choosing not to use the effect of the field spell to summon one of the back row, but honestly at this point, you're already doing pretty good. I don't think you really need to. And we're going to pass turn, drawing an Ash Blossom. A little too late for that, but doesn't matter. We're in such a commanding position that I don't even really see it mattering. I'm going to go Mind Shuffle, adding a copy of the Black Chaos. Honestly, every time I read this card, it just gets crazier and crazier, man. Towers that also banishes 2 and can also get your combo started by placing your trap face up. Crazy card. So we're going to see him. It looks like he's activating Black Chaos. Keep in mind, Black Chaos doesn't activate. It's built-in or inherent summon, whatever you want to call it. Going to shuffle back the Ritual from hand to summon itself. And because we have the Ritual spell that is a Towers in, yep, we just see it scoop up. I was about to say, it's very, very unlikely that we have anything to do there. So did want to say on a side note, thank you guys for the surge in views for the second feature match commentary with the ROLAD Azamina versus the DoomZ Power Patron deck. Really happy to see all of that, so we appreciate all of you guys taking more time to check out the channel. Sorry it's been a minute since we've gotten anything up. I was on holiday, so it was a little bit busy. Couldn't really get anything out, but I am happy to be creating some more good content up in here in the kitchen for you guys. So thank you guys for waiting. And looking into the next game, obviously going to see Power Patron DoomZ go first. This Angelechy ROLAD deck, I'm not sure how I guess none of the ROLAD decks are really insane going second. We probably end up just putting in more hand traps if I had to guess. Deck probably plays Harmonia, which is really good against the DoomZ half of the deck. Probably going to see things like Fuwa, Perulia come in if we play them. Meanwhile, on the Power Patron DoomZ side, probably going to see Armel Charmies come out, putting in counter traps, stuff like that. Ashes, if they're sided, which I believe they are. I believe Ayer's siding the Ash Blossoms right now, so those will probably come in going first to negate the Charmies that our opponent's bringing in. And yeah, game plan for game 2 will basically just be set up our board, and honestly, if Power Patron DoomZ manages to get to its full end board, I don't really see much that Angelechy ROLAD can do going second. So it's really just a matter of can we get to the end board. If we get there, I'd feel pretty confident, barring really crazy going second cards out of the Angelechy ROLAD player's hand. Maybe we'll get to see that opening to E4. Use really weird card text. If your opponent goes first, you can use it during their standby phase. I don't think we've ever seen that card text. But it does allow us to set up a decent bit. That does not look like a great hand. If you saw what I saw, it looks like I saw a Spell Canceler and a Driver. 2 cards you do not want to see in your opening hand going first. Let's hope the rest of the hand is a little better. Oh, and we're passing. Crap. We're passing. The opponent draws the D-Mock. That is unfortunate. God, Gamma's such a good card, but then Driver just loves being in your hand so much more, doesn't he? All right, we'll see what the Angelechy ROLAD player decides to do. Guess I jinxed it. Not Deck might not be good going second, but it damn is good going second if your opponent doesn't do anything. Gonna see Foolish Burial dumping Scholarship into Chaos, Scholarship of Chaos dumping the Ritual spell to add one of the rituals. We already have the Demox, so going to be adding the BLS. And Droll on Res, that's gonna hurt for sure. That is not a card you want to see, barring starting with specifically Griffo. That card can play around it pretty well, but in a position like this, we do have the Angelechy problem, so we can do a little bit with that. We can potentially put up one of these ritual monsters, but without access to Mind Shuffle, deck does kind of just fall apart. We're going to see the Angelechy problem pitching the Pot of Sloth. This will again E-Telly, probably the Enlisted to the EMZ. Yep, and then place one. Oh, sorry, so the problem does not have to summon to the EMZ. I'm thinking of the trap card. The field spell can summon wherever. We're going to see Bastion. Go ahead and place the Chatrenga, same thing as last game. And Chatrenga will not be adding a trap card this time. Courtesy of Droll and Lockbird. Gotta love that card. And from here, I don't really see what we do. We can Skull Archfiend of Chaos, I guess. Yeah, we're going to put back the Droll, the Sloth, and the Ritual spell. So this will let us convert into the Diabell, which will give us some form of interaction on the opponent's turn. Looks like we have Ash Blossom. We'll have the Diabell and Chatrenga Lock put up. So we will have something. But, I mean, when your opponent just passes going first, it's hard to believe that whatever card they draw is going to play through anything if it couldn't play the first game. We're going to see the Diabell go ahead and add back Foolish Burial. Gotta love cards that just add back. Now, it's crazy. This deck has two cards to do that. You'd have the Diabell and you have the Democ. We're going to see Foolish Burial activated for a second time. Don't think I've seen that. Maybe ever. I don't think I've ever seen Foolish Burial activated twice in the same turn. So you decide to do. We're going to see Foolish Burial go ahead, maybe Griffo, so it gives us full ritual material. Nope, going to dump the Black Chaos. And I don't believe he can summon himself from the graveyard, but could potentially be there to be added back off the ritual spell at a later time. We're going to set one. And should go battle phase. I'm not sure if we're going to battle phase, but we can pretend we did. We're going to see, oh, okay, and we do have the Mind Shuffle. We're going to see Mind Shuffle activated in the draw phase, chaining Ash Blossom to it. Diabell going to be chained, sending the Bastion. This will let us summon a Synchro Tuner, probably just Zaylin again. Yep. Going to see Zaylin summon for a second time. Now, the issue with this Mind Shuffle is that we currently don't have a way to put the summon effect online. While it can bounce back level 7s or higher, remember, it does have to bounce back to the hand for cost, so we actually can't use that on extra monsters. We're going to see Talents plus Nervado being sent to the graveyard from the hand to summon the Non-Finito. Non-Finito will be able to set a card while playing against that Ash Blossom. We're going to see Chatrenga should only be at 1. I don't know why it's at 2. I'm going to see us activate the Vandalism Assault to search Medias. I'm going to Ash Blossom that. So unless there's some magic in that hand, nope, we see Spell Canceler and Driver, and that is the match. That was definitely an unfortunate one. Definitely would have loved to see a little bit more action out of that, but sometimes that is just how it goes. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, stay cooking.